Hey, I'm pretty sure you already heard about Linus Tech Tip channel. Linus and his team always come with crazy good ideas, and one of them actually inspired me to make this content. 4 months ago, they decided to start a Linux daily driver challenge. The idea behind that was to switch from Windows to Linux on their personal computer, and this series inspired me to make this video. For me, the stakes will be a little bit higher, because I would have to play video game for hours and stream them on Linux. But I like challenge, and I've been using Linux for 25 years, believe it or not. And since then, I've been in love with the concept of open source software, and I've been using Linux on my old computer as a server for the last 2 decades. Right now, I'm using a full Linux stack server in my basement. Just to give you an idea how much I love this thing, okay? I decided to jump in. I wanted to try. Can I do it? On paper, my computer only needs to do 3 things. I need to do all the office stuff related to, browsing, writing email, all these things. So this is the first thing. Second thing is I need to play video games, and I need to be able to stream them within the same PC. Okay, because if I use a second PC and a capture card, it will be kind of cheating to me. It will be too easy. So I wanted to do that. And the third thing is I want to be able to edit my video with the software I use on a weekly basis called DaVinci Resolve. Okay, so this is part of the challenge. So how did I do that? So first, I need to explain what I do for a living. I'm streaming Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on this channel. I play mainly competitive games, which are multiplayer. And from time to time, I will stream some single player game. The game I choose to play for this challenge is Grand Theft Auto 5. So I started from scratch. Because even if I do understand the basic, with my experience on the server side, I had no experience on the desktop in Linux, because I never had to really deal with it. But the good news is with Linux, if you learn how to learn, it's going to be really easy to learn new concept and new things. I'm not an engineer. I don't have any IT background. I learn everything there. But everything is there. You don't need to go to a private school to understand that. You can find everything online. The way it works with Linux is so good, and it's something I want to push out right away in this video, because this is mainly why this open source concept is so good. Everything is there. So how did I do? Well, I bought a SSD, put it in my PC, plugged it, and boom, here we go. Done. No. The first thing you need to know is what distribution you're gonna get into. And oh my god, you have so many choices. And I want to share with you the thought processing I went through to find and choose the distribution I used. Because my main use of this PC is actually playing video game again and streaming, and I need to make sure that I had the latest version of kernel, driver, and software. I wanted to have a bleeding edge type of distribution, which will help me to have the best performance with my new hardware. I think you got it there. I went with Arch. And even if I never really used it on the server side, it is super popular for the desktop. I had no idea what I will run through. Everybody is oh yeah, Arch is really hard and blah blah blah. But honestly, it was not that hard. So vanilla Arch is ready for the purist. If you want to install it on your hard drive, you need to have a lot of knowledge on Linux. I wouldn't encourage to take this path if you are new. But there is some developer who created distribution which are super easy to install and come with packages which make the whole experience feel like Windows, except you are on Linux. So I made my research, and I found this distribution called Endavor OS. And listen to me, It's literally the best of both worlds. It's really easy to install, and the layer on top of like the Arch vanilla is really, really small. It's almost like you, if I didn't tell you it was Endavor OS, you couldn't tell. It would be like Arch. So the second challenge you're gonna face after choosing your distribution is to find out if your hardware is actually compatible with Linux in general, and if it is, if it has like the same type of software you can use. Let me give you a simple example. When I stream, I use something called a Stream Deck. This Stream Deck on Windows is pretty easy. You go on the website, you download the software, you program it, boom, it works. Like, it's simple as that. On Linux, there is no software. So Linux will recognize the Stream Deck connected to the PC, but you won't have any like type of software you're gonna be able to use and, you know, program all those little buttons. So I'm not using it. With the fact that Linux is gonna become more and more popular, companies like Elgato are gonna have to invest like money into developing those software. And what I believe is like in the future, it's gonna get solved. Second point is the hardware limitation. And it's not really a hardware limitation, it's more again like a software like driver issue related to the hardware. I have this wonderful, I would say like wonderful like capture card. It's one of the best on the market. It's an Avermedia 4K 60 Hz. And there is no driver for Linux. And the funny thing is, like, after doing some researches, I noticed that they have card with the same chip, but branded like another name on their website, which is like destined to the professional crowd. And this card has the driver, like the Linux driver, but it's twice the price of the, I would say like the one I own there. So they decided to go like for the driver for the high price card, but they didn't give the driver for the actual like normal like user, which in my opinion is a shame. And I think the company which will do that in the future, they're going to be called out and they're going to lose like huge market share. Nvidia, for example, they have been aware of the market share change, especially in the professional like industry. They have been like working really hard to develop like Linux drivers that works. Last point, DaVinci Resolve, and it was at my good surprise, was super easy to install and was working right off the bat, no problem. He recognized actually my Nvidia card, boom, and everything worked. But it could be a big but. Sorry, not what I meant to say. It could be a big drawback for you. Some of the plugins were not present. I don't know why. And some of the audio from my recording stream could not work. And I believe, and I need to double check that, but I believe it's because some of the license related to the MP3 container are not existing within Linux. Some other point I also want to mention, because I'm talking about the negative here. Now let's talk about the positive. I discovered something called Pipewire. And Pipewire is a way to manage like all your audio device in Linux. And let me tell you, like this thing is just awesome. So I have this wonderful mixer here, a Behringer mixer, which I underuse on Windows because of the way the drivers are built. In Linux, I can literally use it to its max potential. This is insane. And I want to share that with you because we always think about the negative with Linux, but I'm telling you, like if you are in the sound business, like Linux is the way to go. I don't know what type of software support they have, but when I see the way you can manage your hardware, I'm like, and also like, you don't need to install driver. You plug and play, it works. Just crazy to me. Second thing is like everything related to mouse, plug and play. You want to change the mouse acceleration. Some distributions, they have a GUI. Here in Arch, it's all like you have to go through the terminal. But you have a superb wiki which is going to explain you like everything. So you just have to read it, apply what needs to be done in your terminal, and boom, no mouse acceleration anymore. This, perfect. Same with the controller. My PS4 controller works right off the bat. Just push it, boom, it works. Same with the printer. The printer, recognize right off the bat, no driver to install, it just works. Okay. And I don't have an easy printer. I have a printer over Ethernet and on Wi-Fi, but it works. Okay. Like, you have no driver to install. It just works. And that's the beauty. So let's go back to my challenge. So now I'll explain you the path to get there. Did I make it? Well, listen. Game was working. I didn't miss any of my stream. It was rough at the beginning to, for me to learn the desktop environment from Linux, because I really never used any of them. And even if the one I choose, XFCE, is pretty similar to Windows, there is some different thing. You're gonna have to figure it out. But nothing complex like 20 years ago. It just works. Let's talk about the performance of the game. GTA 5 never crashed. Never. I played the full story mode. All of it. Never crashed. Really good. OBS was the source of one issue I had. Because when I installed it for the first time, I had to compile it. And one time I made a mistake while compiling it. Actually recompiling it. And it kind of broke. But it was pretty easy. I just had to uninstall it and reinstall it. And it worked. So, you're wondering, what is the outcome of this video? Well, I'm still using this Arch distribution. I still have this hard drive in my PC. And I'm actually using it on a daily basis. And I love it. To me, it's the achievement of what I've been thinking about Linux for the last 25 years. It's free. It works. It's rock solid. I get better FPS on the game I play on it than on Windows. Experience is better on Apex Legends. Experience is way better on Elden Ring. I'm living the dream. There is still some limitation. I can't play some of the game because the developers are not willing to make the effort to make it work on Linux. But truth is, it's just better. And that's why I've been talking about it for the last 4 months. I've been amazed by it. Did I totally switch? Not yet. I'm still kind of cheating because I want to have a Windows partition on the side just to make sure that, if there is some crazy games that come out and it's not supported on Linux, I will be able to play it with my friend. If I had to choose between Linux and Windows right now, I will still choose Linux. Even if my capture card doesn't work. So when I stream, you can see my face yet. I'm planning about buying a capture card, which is going to be compatible with Linux. Stream Deck is going to be supported one day or another on Linux because everybody is going to be like me. They will finally have the opportunity to have an alternative to Windows. And the alternative is actually pretty damn good. So guys, if you like the content, please leave a comment down below, give a thumbs up to this video, subscribe to the channel, and if you want to see on your own eyes how it feels to play and stream on Linux, well, come see me. I'm live again Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Have a great rest of your day, and see you in the next one. Let's go. Bisous, bisous. We did it.